So recently we have seen that India has surpassed China as world's leading rice producer. Sounds really good, isn't it? But it is coming up with certain challenges. So this is what we'll discuss in this episode of ThinkHeist, wherein which I take a particularly UPSC relevant topic, make you understand with respect to multiple dimensions which are needed, make you understand what should be the way forward with such kind of complex topics, and that helps in having a comprehensive viewpoint of a certain event. So let's start this discussion on this topic of India as a leading rice producer. So, as I have told you, what are the factors which led to India turning into a leading rice producer? Let us understand from different dimensions. Geographical factors. If you see, India produces rice in almost out of 800 districts, almost 600 districts we have rice. So this almost having around 75-80% of the districts producing rice indicates the kind of suitability of weather to the crop of rice. Rice needs tropical weather which we have in abundance. Rice also needs water. Fairly we are able to supply water to it, but still it is coming at a certain cost. So there is a decent amount of monsoon fed waters. There is a decent amount of irrigation supply which has led to the production of rice. Now, if you see from independence to now, in terms of rice production, we actually have increased our area coverage. We have not just increased the productivity, we have also increased our area coverage roughly from around uh, 300 lakh hectares to almost more than 500 lakh hectares of land in the present era, right? So the area coverage has increased. And if you go back to 1960s, India was considered as a begging bowl country, considering that we are importing the food grains like rice. Country is starving out of food. Remember the what do you say? Remember the slogan given by Lal Bahadur Shastri at point of time? The then Prime Minister, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. So Jai Kisan was attributed towards the aspects of uh, hailing the farmer so that we are actually be able to produce the much needed food grains for our country. So that was the era. So we had significant amount of shortage of food grains. We are importing food grains. That was the time Norman Borlaug and MS Swaminathan have, with the help of these two giants who have started the Green Revolution, and with that there was a tremendous increase in terms of our productivity and production of crops like dominantly wheat, and also favorably impacted is rice. So with that, over a period of last 30-40 years, you have seen that after the green revolution introduction, the rice production have significantly kept on increasing year after year, year after year. With that, our food stock supply, our food grains production has significantly increased. Not just because of the green revolution and the geographical factors rice is being produced. Rice is being produced in our country with a kind of a system which has been developed with respect to the procurement of rice in India. You see, government announces minimum support prices in the country, but majority of the crops for which minimum support price is being announced, not every crop is procured at the same way. They announce, but the azurity is more dominantly for these food grains of rice and wheat. Because of these historical factors, farmer has seen that when we are producing rice, we are actually producing rice we are producing rice in different areas, but at the same time the government is providing somewhat like an assurance in terms of the procurement. So every farmer across the country is feeling that, okay, if I produce rice, there is an assured buyer, that to government of India. So why should I not use this opportunity? So with this amount of assurity, with the amount of minimum support price, with the policies associated with procurement, every farmer has a sense of stability, assurance, and they started producing more. In the process, what happened over a period of time is across the country, across the different districts of our country, almost all farmers have got this sense of assurity, and that's why there is too much dependence or too much supply of rice in our country. So all these factors, the historical, geographical fact, the historical factor associated with Green Revolution, the factor associated with something like the geographical factors, and also the government policies which are supported in this way has led to these kind of dominant rice production in the country. Of course, we are also turning into a net exporter also in terms of rice, be it the basmati rice, be it the non-basmati rice. In this globalized world, this is one such product which we are exporting. If tomorrow India stops exporting, so many countries, especially in Africa, they'll be having significant challenges in terms of rice imports. The prices would steeply increase, and that would have a cascading impact on vulnerable small countries of Africa. Of course, that is one dimension. Now let us understand what are the challenges associated with respect to the rice. Rice is what we call it as a water guzzling crop. High water input. It needs tremendous amount of water, right? So that's why in all across the country, it is grown in areas where there is minimum 100 centimeters of rain, or there should be some assurance of something of irrigation facilities. We have seen across the years some aspects like something like uh, what do you say, the elections in our country, they always rely about bijli sadak pani, they say, no, power, road, water. Now if you see, for this agriculture, the government has over a period of time has started giving this free power and all these aspects, and in the process there was too many bore wells which have been developed in our country, and these bore wells which has, what you say, democratized the opportunity of extracting the water. People have started utilizing it more. So water is easily available in terms of extraction from the groundwater. Too many bore wells, and with such bore wells extracting the water, that had led to significant what to say, coverage in terms of the bore wells, and that is the reason also, unfortunately, which has led to depletion of groundwater resources in the country. You look at Punjab, it is struggling with respect to the resources of water. Right? Now we'll move forward to another dimension. This is one such major one. We are having severe water scarcity in these areas. It is because of producing rice in areas which we are not supposed to produce, because environmentally it is not suitable. Then we'll go to some other dimension. For example, if you talk about the economics. For example, government of has given a survey. Government of India has done a survey, and this says that in terms of this procurement cost, in terms of producing rice, procuring rice, storing in the FCI godowns, and distributing to the people, the government is costing almost 1,36,000 rupees per hectare, and which is actually a very huge cost. Imagine this amount of cost only we are utilizing on some other aspects. Of course, there is the balance which is needed. So we can utilize these for other kinds of opportunities as well. And in the process, we can achieve our desired results. So what we are saying says that the India turning as #1 rice producer has a significant economic cost even to the government, the exchequer. Not just that, with respect to the kind of ecosystem which has been developed over the years in terms of assured rice procurement by the government, the farmers have assurity, and the politicians have you started utilizing it as an emotional aspect. You see, you would be surprised to know that the leading producer of rice in the country as of now is not Punjab, UP or such, but it is Telangana. Telangana is in the dryland area of our country with a minimum amount of rainfall when compared with other states, but it is the leading producer of a water guzzling crop like rice. What made this change? Well, after 2014, there was the Telangana movement has been done, and there was a new government at Telangana with respect to KCR, Chandrasekhar, right? And with respect to this chief minister and his emotional appeal to his farmers, saying that we would do whatever it needs for the welfare of the farmers, he has started some variety of programs like the Kaleshwaram project, lift irrigation project, and other kind of irrigational programs in Telangana. All these also have come at a significant cost. The cost with respect to providing water in a Telangana region in terms of irrigation, especially through Kaleshwaram lift irrigation, it is raising concerns with respect to, is it efficient? At what cost are we producing rice? That is a very significant aspect, even to certain extent that some of the critics are calling it as a absolutely white elephant. We will tell you about whatever the money which the governments at the state level, at the central level has spent on rice. If that amount was spent on some other things in a proper planned way, how it will lead to desired results, we will discuss further. Not just that. What about crop diversification? You see, for a person in our country, if they wanted to produce, if they wanted to eat, they need not be just eating about too much amount of carbohydrates in terms of rice, wheat, and all. Don't we need around a significant aspects of something like diversified food basket? Don't we need to eat millets? Don't we need to eat pulses and all, so that nutritional security is also assured to each and every individual in the country? So the rice production is coming at a cost of lack of diversification, crop diversification in the country, where we are actually too much dependent on import of pulses. So our dals which we all eat, we're actually importing. We are not producing enough for the population of our country because there is too much amount of rice. And also these dals, pulses are leguminous crops which will help in terms of nutritional benefit towards which will in terms of the soil nutrition benefit as well, because they help in replenishing the nitrogen. You all know the NPK ratio, the major nutrients of the soil which they require in terms of nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, NPK. Ideally, it was supposed to be 4:2:1. In reality, it is almost 10:3:1. Too much amount of nitrogen, urea production, which is also leading to environmental challenges like eutrophication. So there are significant challenges with respect to this. By the way, I did not discuss about the conservatism in our FCI conservatism in our policies, wherein which we can see these kind of procured rice and all these aspects are rotting in the FCI godowns. Sometimes you can see they are also rotting with respect to eaten by the rats and all such things. Why? Too much procurement. Godowns doesn't have enough capacity. We store it outside and they rot. They rot to the climatic vagaries, they rot to the rainfall, and we are seeing the negative impact. All these are connected with respect to the ecosystem which has been developed by the government in terms of procurement of rice, in terms of its assurity. Now, let us see what should be the way forward. Because of all these aspects, the government is unable to move out of this kind of a ecosystem, because they have developed a loop. In terms of the loop, they are unable to diversify out of this. Now, what they need to do? Imagine I have told you something like 1,36,000 rupees per hectare usage in terms of the amount which the government is spending on rice procurement and storing. What if they tend to incentivize farmers who are producing millets, who are producing oil seeds, who are producing pulses, which we all are importing? The cost of the same thing, if you spent on this, there is a well diversified basket. What if you try to provide to the farmers in terms of whatever is the demand in the farmland, which I call it as from which we call it as in our classes also we have discussed something like there is a statement which I have given. What is that? From the farmland towards our plate, we need to plate, the aspect should be plate to plow, right? Or plow to plate. In terms of discussion, I have told you plate to plow should be the way forward, which is demand driven, value rich. Plate to plow, whatever is the demand in our agriculture areas, in terms of our markets, in terms of our cities who are demanding. That's what is the plate. That is what has to be plowed in the soil. Plate to plow, not plowed to plate. You are producing rice, so you keep on selling only rice. No, that era has to go away. That is not plow to plate. This is what I have told you. So if this much amount of money which we are spending on rice, if you try to diversify into, say, with respect to making Telangana as the hub of millet production, not just for the country, but for the world. Imagine the scale of efficiency which we will gain. Imagine the kinds of technology which we can build into millets. Imagine how we can develop something like millet based foods. Imagine how we can also produce the food processing industries. Say, what if we can develop or imagine Telangana as the millet capital of the world? Why can't we do that? What if we say Madhya Pradesh as the pulses capital of the world? How can we make such kind of aspects? How we can change our policies so that we can achieve these desired results? If we as a country can focus on these aspects, we will see tremendous results in terms of our impact. This is what is the viewpoint I want you guys to have. The policies, the incentives, everything has to be redesigned so that we are easily achieving our nutritional sorry we are easily achieving our nutritional security to the country. This is the episode of Think Heist with respect to the rice. Until we meet next time, keep learning, keep having fun, and keep growing in terms of your knowledge. Thank you, all of you. This is Venkatesh signing off.